Hello, and welcome back to the Nasty Metal Production channel here at YouTube, and welcome to another Friday review. Today, I am here to give my thoughts on the Banishing, the newest second album from semi-newer Italian doom metal band Bottomless, released on August 25th via Dying Victims Productions. So without further ado, let's begin. Okay. Now, before I get into giving my thoughts on The Banishing, you know what I have to do. I have to do a track list rundown so I can tell you folks what are the songs that are on this album, how many tracks that are on this album, and what is the time length for this album. Since this album consists a total of 8 tracks, it clocks in at the length of 42 minutes and 2 seconds. So these 8 tracks are beginning with Let Them Burn, The Great Unknown, Guardians of Silence, Stand in the Dimming Light, By the Sword of the Archangel, Illusion Sun, Drawn into Yesterday, and then, finally ending with Dark Waters. So there you go, folks. There's your 8 tracks.
I take it that you probably are guessing what that sound is, and if you guessed right, you are correct. That is the sound of my notes slapping against the microphone. Yeah.
I'm now just getting introduced to this band, which is thanks to the very cool New Wave for Traditional Heavy Metal Full Albums channel here at YouTube. Now, I love me some doom metal. I'm pretty much open-minded to various kinds of doom metal, but the kind of doom metal that usually tickles my fancy is mostly traditional doom metal, basically your Pentagrams, Witchfinder Generals, and St. Vituses of the world. But when it comes to what is epic doom metal, the only bands that I'm familiar with are Candlemass and, early, The Gates of Slumber. I am here to let you guys know that Bottomless are riding a stride line that goes in between traditional doom metal and epic doom metal, that also flirts with being progressive at times due to riff and pace changes within these songs. On their self-titled debut album from 2 years ago was more on the traditional meter of things, but here with the Banishing, they seem to be expanding their stylings here. For the most part, traditional doom is still the core flavor. Take for instance the greasy dirge opener, Let Them Burn, that steamrolls over the listener, not really in a Motorhead way, but paced enough to where it feels like one. And then the heavy as a ton of bricks, Dark Water, which greatly ends the album. These two to me are the closest to what makes classic traditional doom so infectious. There are plenty of typical slow-paced doom metal songs that are typical of the traditional doom metal genre, like, for instance, The Great Unknown, By the Sword of the Archangel, and Illusion Sun. These 3 songs have plenty of emotion behind them to where the paceness for these work. It's not just slow for the sake of being slow, but an idea that fits the story and themes for these songs. Then we have what I consider to be the most Candlemass sounding song of the entire album. That is the longest running song here, Guardians of Silence, which actually clocks in at the length of 7 minutes and 32 seconds. Just from the start of this song, with its dark, mystical, clean guitar, and with Giorgio Trombino's vocal performance, I hope I pronounce his name correctly, it gives me strong Epicus, Doomicus, Metallicus vibes. And once it builds up to the guitar-driven part, it stays in this style, and as soon as it feels like it's going to come to an end, it then turns up the speed and ends in a way that almost is a great Swedish metal song, the way a great Swedish metal song should end. This band, for being from Italy, found the formula to what makes a great Swedish doom metal song, so infectious. It just brought it home. Easily one of my favorite songs on the album, and possibly favorite song in general. But that is not to take away from the other brilliantly performed songs here. Again, the last song I want to touch on is Drawn Into Yesterday, which is the shortest song here. It's brilliantly performed ballad, but is drenched in being dark and is majestic. Giorgio Trombino just pours his soul into this. The song is, and the album, of course, again, and for the entire album as well. After the album was finished, I came out of it pretty stunned. Compared to the debut, not only is everything more melodic here, but it has girth to it. The band are showing that they are playing at an even greater level, with Giorgio Trombino showing a lot more variedness in his performances. He's not just trying to channel guys like Bobby Liebling. He's being really creative here, and it's what is impressing me so much. So in many ways, I came out of this album a fan, and that's what makes music for me such a powerful model. So, there you go, folks. There's my thoughts on The Banishing from Bottomless. And my rating. I gotta give it a 9.90 out of 10. This was a really, really good album, especially for a band who I'm now just getting into. If anything, it kind of reminds me how I felt coming out of, was it Witchbanger from Duel? It's just, the album just pounded me to the floor, and that's the same way I felt coming out of The Banishing here by Bottomless. It's just, it's the same effect, the same feel, and oh my god. They really brought this album home here. This was a really, really good album, and again, I'm definitely going to be following these guys just like I have been with Duel. So, a very good album. I definitely recommend Bottomless. I'm going to leave you a link to, of course, their Bandcamp pages for both the Dying Victims Productions page and Bottomless's page, so you can at least support and listen to this artist, this band. I meant to probably more so. Oh my god, you know what? I'm gonna probably start babbling off like a jackass here. So I'm just gonna start ending things here, because all you need to know is that I am recommending Bottomless. So please support these guys. This is Heavy Thrasher saying I'm out, and I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone.